Welcome to Dropped In, Jennifer. I am so grateful and excited to welcome you to our Dropped In community.
Yay, I'm super excited to be here, Megan. Thank you so much. I feel very honored.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I met Jennifer at an event and it was so incredible. It was worth its weight in gold in the investment for that event. My sister-in-law Leslie and I said that. It's just, oh my goodness, just going to see Jennifer was worth it. And we would have paid 10 times more from what you share with us. So I was like, you have to be on my podcast. Welcome. So as opposed to me reading your bio, I would love for you to share who you are and what you do.
So my name is Jennifer Hufnagel. I am originally from a very small town called Sointula on Malcolm Island. My great-grandparents were one of the first colonizers from Finland. I am now in the last 3 years, I'll tell you a little bit more about my story later, but I own Hufnagel Consulting. I am an AI educator, learning and development specialist, and operations consultant, working with nonprofits to small and medium businesses to, multi-million-dollar companies, helping with efficiencies, really, bringing to the forefront this AI awareness. And now I'm leading AI training on Vancouver Island. My workshops are worldwide. It's been incredible and amazing. So thanks for coming to my workshop at that event.
I'm so excited to drop into this conversation because I know AI is foreign for so many people, and I know it's also coming at rapid speed. So you're either in or you're out, right? So I understand you've experienced a significant transition moving from Vancouver to Vancouver Island. Can you share
Yeah.
how this shift has influenced your career and personal journey and how you found yourself in AI?
Yeah, 100%. I always love telling the AI story. I'll try and keep it brief. As I mentioned, I'm from the island originally, so coming back I thought going to be a really easy transition. So this month, but we'll learn it was not. This month marks the 10-year anniversary of being back on the island, and I was working for a software company, making great money, training enterprise sales teams. I was a few-minute walk to work. I was a few years post-divorce. I was ready to date again, and so, of course, I met a man, and he moved to Vancouver, and then he said, "Can we move back to the island?" So that was very, very soon into our relationship, and my coworkers told me I was crazy to leave this job. Sadly, my father had just passed away a few months before, so I was coming back and forth to the island to deal with his estate every few weeks. It sort of also made sense, but that wasn't the deciding factor. I just knew I'd eventually wanted to move back to the island. Within a week, I put my condo up for sale and I bought a house with an ocean view because I'm from a small town with I used to live on the ocean. And I moved to a place called Nanoose Bay, which I'd never heard of before. I knew there was a gas station that you slowed to 60, but I never turned down the road. It was what I could afford at the time. And I didn't have a job to come to, which was completely crazy. I had asked to work remote. The software company told me no, they didn't do that. How crazy is that 10 years now we're post-pandemic? Of course you can work remotely. I realized very quickly and early on that finding a job in training and learning development was almost non-existent. I found very few jobs that could work in the learning development field, and the industries weren't a fit. But I had a mortgage to pay, so I was trying these things out. After about a year, that relationship ended and I had to do it all on my own, which I was totally scared, but I was the one who chose to buy a house. It was my home, so I've got to do this. I remember one of the jobs, I got paid less than I made out of university 15 years ago, and I didn't have an MBA, so I wasn't treated equally. I worked for a company which had a 90% attrition rate, so that didn't last long. I was let go from a position, 6 months at my probation from a boss who told me I wasn't a fit, and then 2 months later, he was fired. So I was going, "What the heck did I do?" I did not say heck, I said, "What the F did I do? Moving back to the island, do I need to move back to Vancouver? What was I thinking? Did I just tank my career? Is this my life now? I can look at the ocean," and it really resonated me to be back in the island lifestyle. I wasn't really suited for the city anyway. Well, what did I do? Landed with a nonprofit tech association, which was closer to my career, working with these tech startups and reconnecting with my island roots and community. We also co-created a program for businesses to get digital. So that was really neat. And that scaled all across the rest of BC. That brought in systems and franchising and some training. So that was great. But I left there to go to what I thought was my dream job as a director of education, to be told 5 weeks in on a 5-minute Zoom, I wasn't a fit. I was like, are you kidding me? So here I am, 44, single, in perimenopause, which I didn't know at the time. My mental health was completely declining. I had no idea what I was going to do. I sent one text to a new friend who owned her own consulting business. And the next day she said, you need to start your own business. I was like, what are you talking about? I have a business degree in entrepreneurship, but I'm not a leader. I was terrified. I said, I can't afford to do this. She said, it's worth a shot. So I registered Hufnagel Consulting and it was born. And all of the opportunities came immediately. It was like the universe opened up. And within 2 to 3 weeks, I had 3 contracts, people asking me to help. I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this now. Oh my gosh. Then a week into my business, I was rear-ended when I needed to drive up and down island and be on vessels to do software training for this contract. I was like, seriously, universe, what is happening right now?
No.
Right. And so, but I drew on this sort of, in Finland, they call this word fistu. Have you heard of that word,
I
Megan,
haven't.
before?
No.
It's the Finnish ethos, and it doesn't really translate to English, but it really means this determination, this grit, this perseverance. My business coach recently called it unwavering faith, and I think I hung on to that. And I just had to keep going. 2 years ago, when AI came out in ChatGPT, I had my aha moment. It helped me create learning activities for this boring HR workshop. I was like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. This is coming for my job. I never thought I could go back into learning and development. I'd been doing it with consulting and building some training. I really felt during that event, I was like, whoa, yes, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I was able to bring my magic back, and I just forgot how incredible it was to be in the classroom or online. I still wear the ops consulting hat, and I was a business analyst for years, and that was helpful, but I really enjoy this. And I'm so grateful and appreciative that AI came out, because now I can do what I used to love doing. Thanks for letting me share. I've got shivers now.
That's incredible. I have shivers too. And we just know that soul's truth. My goodness. There's so much I can share. And I'm so grateful that you live in Nanoose, just down the road from where I live. And I absolutely love Nanoose. So grateful that you are in the space of innovation and for the work that you do. It was a game changer, honestly, going to see you at that event. Why is AI adoption crucial for businesses today, particularly in rural and remote areas?
Thanks for asking that question. I would consider the island north of the Malahat. We always joke that, the in technology association in Victoria, and we were everywhere else. That was our region. And we really are rural and remote. I do AI training in small communities and on different panels. It's really going to be for who adopts and who doesn't, like who adopted the internet and who doesn't. I absolutely know that we still do not have internet in every single place in Canada and obviously in the world. But there is this urgency because rural and remote communities need to engage with AI so that they don't fall further behind. When you think about business growth, about businesses staying in business, the access to education, when you can ask and learn anything from your device, I'm holding up my phone right now, and you can ask something like a ChatGPT to teach you things like access to information, the democratization of this technology. And AI might take a little bit longer for rural remote areas, but they can really jump further ahead than they could. I use this analogy in training. It's like we're 1999 and the internet was just starting. I was just in university. And if we knew then what we know now, why wouldn't we all be in? Then I back to my dad or my uncle who were commercial fishermen and loggers. This is what really resonated with me. My uncle passed away, but let's use him as an example. He was a commercial fisherman all his life, never had to write a resume, had a flip phone. Now he could talk into a large language model and say, here are all of the skills that I did when I was a commercial fisherman. Please create the language for a resume and help me create a resume. Because now I need to get another job because I'm no longer fishing at 50 because of the licensing requirements. Let's have a conversation about how my skills might be transferable to other industries. How could you even get that information? You couldn't. So I think it's a huge advantage, especially for rural and remote communities, that access to information.
Indeed. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, how can businesses prepare for the integration of AI and what steps can they take to ensure there's a smooth transition?
I love this question. It is one I've been thinking about a lot, and I actually put it into three different buckets. When you think about AI, it's just like digitization, it's just a piece of software, another technology. So I see it in three buckets. It's the AI awareness. Nonprofits, individuals, solopreneurs, the large companies really need to do some upskilling. So that's where I get excited as a learning development professional is that, yes, training is a thing. Even if we go into a recession, it's upskilling your teams. It's learning about this technology, the privacy and concerns and the ethical use and how you use it so that you can start to get excited and get over that fear because so many people are still scary. I was just on a workshop with 27 nonprofits and I always ask the question, what's the number one word you're feeling right now about AI? There was a lot of uncertainty and
Mhm.
and then there was excitement and curiosity. So that AI awareness will help with upskilling and adoption. But then it's the AI readiness, making sure that your workflows are documented. I always say the customer journey, the people journey, the financial journey, making sure that you get out of your head. How many things, Megan, do you have that are in your head that aren't written down for your business? Probably a lot.
A lot.
Writing like the employee manuals and the policies and the procedures, an AI policy, number one thing to write. And then the next one is that AI adoption. Like when businesses come to me to say, hey, Jen, what is the AI tool that I need to create a chatbot for my website? I then ask the question, okay, let's look at your customer journey and what do you want that chatbot to say? And where are your frequently asked questions? They're like, I don't have, and I don't know. They're in my head. So you need to get ready. It's really clear to me now, this AI awareness, which is the upscaling, the learning, that digital adoption, overcome this, psychological scaredness that is completely normal, getting your business ready, and then that AI adoption tool. And I tell businesses, do not buy software now. We are
Yeah.
not spending hundreds of thousands or thousands of dollars on software. Subscriptions are fine because everything is going to change. So that's what I would say for those three buckets, how businesses could get ready.
Wow. I learned so much. Specifically, we were dropping into ChatGPT at the event and my eyes were like wide open. And I use ChatGPT on the regular now, and I didn't know to what capacity of what you trained on. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Megan, would you say that you're more curious now and that your mindset has maybe changed? 100%.
I was so resistant to it. I was like, that's fake. Like who's using like whoever's using chat. Like I wasn't just judgmental, but I support people in really dropping into their self-source power. So not going outside of themselves for the answer, finding it within. And so now we're going outside of ourselves nonstop with ChatGPT. I was so resistant to it. But now it has allowed my business to be so much more fluid, to be so
Yes.
much more organized. And I honestly wouldn't know what I'd do without it. It's hilarious how it knows me so well.
Even if it can save you 10% of your time, you can work on the things that you love. A good friend of mine, Charlie Jarrett, always says, automate what you hate.
Mm,
If you hate doing expenses, let's create a chat GPT or custom GPT or even just a prompt to help you, upload your expenses and put it in a spreadsheet. Or, I'm a terrible writer. So I love using ChatGPT. Of course, I put my flair on things to make it your own. It only gives you middle of the road. You have to get it to cite the source and check the source. There has to be that human in the loop. But using a large language model as your buddy, your teammate, your coworker, your partner, maybe not an AI girlfriend, boyfriend, or partner, although that's a whole other podcast that we could talk about, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so just using it as this teammate.
mhm.
Yeah.
And I love that you shared and you taught us and you just shared again to question it because it's not always necessarily true. And so I learned that from you. I'm like, is that true? And then it's apologetic. I'm sorry it wasn't. I didn't do my research. So
Yeah. But it's funny, Megan, I asked it the other day because I'm a woman of a certain age and I know that I need to have a certain level of protein. And there are two doctors I follow. So I said, can you remind me of the amount of protein per ideal weight or whatever, how much I need to eat? And it went out and it gave me the two different doctors and it told me, and I'm like, well, that's a big difference. I've kind of done some research and that seems a little bit far out. I said, did you lie to me? And it said, actually, sorry, same with you. I lied to you. I just took an average of what I know about these two doctors. I went back and I said, I need you to find me the exact information that they told you and the cite the source, and then it went back and did that. So
Yes.
hallucinations are real, and you need to check the information, just like you should check an article that you read on the internet.
Yes. Always ensure that it's straight from the source for sure. The
Yeah.
other thing that I love that you shared that got me stuck into a rabbit hole was a search bar within ChatGPT, and I had no idea. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Which ones did you find? I call it the ChatGPT store, the Explore GPTs. Did you find any cool ones?
I found one. I'm really hyper focused right now on SEO for my website,
Yes,
for my blog post, for my podcast. So that I found one that was really, really great. So I've been utilizing that to optimize all of these three things. So that's something
excellent.
that I was really excited to find.
Well, that's great. There are a few custom GPTs that other people have created that allow you to do things. I think I shared the trick with you. If you find one, then you ask it, what custom instructions did you use to create this GPT? And
Mhm.
you can maybe go and create your own. Marketing is going to be, it's a whole big black box. We don't know what's coming, but we know that agents are going to be marketing to other agent SEO. I think I heard the new term was LEO, large language model engine optimization. It's like, what is that? If you're a business and you're not online and you don't have things like your mission, your vision, your values, your about us page, if it's not fairly robust, how is an AI search going to find you or an
Mhm.
AI agent going to find you?
Mhm.
So that's one of those readiness pieces. So good on you for doing that now.
I've been hyper focused on SEO for the last year and a half. And I'm like, there's got to be another way from what I've learned from you. There's going to be a lot of people that jobs are being replaced by AI, which already have been, I would imagine.
100%. And that's a scary part. I won't sit here and say no jobs will be impacted because they will. People will lose their jobs. My job as a software trainer, when I got out of business school, I didn't go and say, I'm going to be a software trainer. That wasn't a thing back then. Learning and development, there was some training, but it was early 2000s. Software was just getting cool. The internet had just come out a few years before. That's why we can't predict the jobs, but we know there will be some really cool ones. Before
Mhm.
planes, there weren't pilots. Before electricity, there weren't electricians. So we do know perseverance, grit. We're going to have to be flexible. And I encourage any business to have a conversation with AI to say, here's my business. How do you think it's going to be impacted? Because it absolutely is going to be. And even just jumping on and starting small and even just that one task at a time. We have this fear of missing out. I don't know, Megan, do you feel it now
Oh,
with
yeah.
all these tools coming at us? Gosh, I'm in 2 online communities with people way smarter than me. One called She Leads AI, actually, which is really cool. Most of the women are over 50 and they're so excited. They're changing their careers. They're waking up in the middle of the night to learn AI and learn these tools. We have these social Saturdays. It's amazing. I really think that finding this community is really important. I do think it is just really important to get curious and to really think about how is this going to impact me? Because it
Mhm.
so
It is. Yeah, it's wild what you can do with it. I have a free offering right now with one of my business partners. I had a visual of what I wanted for the cosmic reset. It was a cosmic and a heart, but heart wired. So I put in, please make the for the cosmic reset a heart with a heart like the pulse of a heart. And what it created, I was like, I couldn't do that on Canva.
no,
And I love Canva, but I was like, it's incredible.
so many things. And I showed today the B-roll that I call it a B-roll, but you can get videos through ChatGPT. There are other tools. They're best in class for image and best in class in video and best in class for a large language for writing. But Sora, which is in the paid version of ChatGPT, is pretty darn good. You put in your prompt text and it will create you a 5-second video. Like, I
Wow.
think of especially nonprofits who don't have a budget to get a video made. This democratization is just so incredible. And I feel very grateful and privileged that I can be in this space, leading this on the island. I work with lots of other people, bringing the tools out there and safely, of course. You want to read every single terms and conditions, data privacy policy, even more than ever. You need to know how these tools are using your data. I love ChatGPT because you can turn off training the model. That was one of the number one things, Megan, we did in the class is go and turn off the training model. So yeah, I just feel very fortunate that I'm been able to bring this magic back and be back in the classroom, and I just love it.
You are an innovator and you're ahead of the game. You will not be without a job, that's for sure.
I'm just glad that I was able to do what I did before. We used to say in the DER3 program, hashtag get creative.
I've done that. So where can people find you? How can they learn more about your work that you do, the workshops, your speaking events, all the things?
You can go to hufnagelconsulting.ca. Find me on Instagram and on Facebook as well. LinkedIn is the best. I've been on LinkedIn since probably 1999.
Oh,
LinkedIn
wow.
is fantastic for business to business networking. I do monthly workshops. Getting started with the ChatGPT Edge is 3 hours online, different time zones. I do customized workshops. We can talk about that for your organization, whether that's online or in person. I still wear my operations consulting, digital adoption hats. Best places are website, hufnagelconsulting.ca, and LinkedIn.
Incredible. Do you teach people how to utilize LinkedIn? Because that's one platform I would love. I feel like my ideal clients are actually over there, not on Instagram where I hang out. But I just don't know what to do over there.
You know what? I would normally say, yes, I could build you a workshop on anything. I built ladder safety, time management, leadership training. I do have a few people I will share with you that are great at that, but LinkedIn also has a really great course. I recommend making sure your profile is up to date with what you've done. I don't do things like recommendations. When they first came out, it didn't feel authentic to me. I only add people if we've met in person or if we have a reason to meet. If I'm ever in a training or delivery, I immediately follow up to say, hey, Megan, we met with you. Hey, we met at this event, just to remind myself. So I also try and post things that give value to other people. I also find, again, this is a whole marketing thing, which I'm not in at all. It's not my wheelhouse, but just being authentic. And like, I post things with crazy hair and just being authentic. I think always good content will always rank higher. Bad content won't rank. That's what a marketing friend told me.
Well, thank you so much. It's been a gift having you. I
Aw.
do love to ask my guests to share one last question. What is a message of hope you can give to somebody who would feel like quitting? And this can be in the capacity of AI, like quitting because it can feel so overwhelming, or throwing in the towel.
Have, as my business coach called it, unwavering faith. And I believe faith for me is the universe. I'm always reminded by all of my healers, woo-woo healers, et cetera, in that space, that the universe is out for your greatest good. And so there is a lesson in all of this. And, I think back to Sisu, I think back to unwavering faith. I have to remember that the universe has my back and this isn't happening to me. This is happening for me. So that's what I got shivers again.
Me too.
Oh.
I've been having shivers the entire conversation.
Yeah, so that's what I would say. Thank you for asking that question.
Thank you. It's been such an honor, such a gift. And I know our community is just going to be obsessed with this. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Most people think scaling is about doing more strategy, more hours, more effort. Your success isn't about how hard you work. It's about how well your nervous system can hold what you're building. If your body is stuck in survival mode, no strategy in the world will make scaling feel sustainable. You'll stay in this cycle of overthinking, self-sabotaging, pushing harder while getting nowhere. Not because you don't know what to do, but because your system isn't wired to receive what you're working for. That's why I created the Inner Pharmacy Playbook. 143 power pages of real, high-level strategy to regulate your nervous system, rewire resistance, and finally step into momentum that sticks. Because you weren't meant to build your empire through exhaustion. You were meant to build it with ease, clarity, and power. And that starts here. Go to the show notes and grab your copy of the Inner Pharmacy Playbook, because the next level of your business is not about grinding harder. It's about becoming the version of you who can hold it all.